How are you feeling now that the 53 is set? You guys are in full, planning mode to take on Pittsburgh.
Yeah, feeling great. Obviously, like, it's been a tough 3 days just because like you build so many relationships with those guys that some of them aren't here anymore. So this is always like a tough 3 days to practice with, and then obviously continue to think about those other guys and seeing hear how they're feeling and how they're doing. But I think we're ready to go. I know we got the great guys on this team, great 53 guys that's ready to compete and do what we got to do for this season and every Sunday.
How would you compare last year as a rookie finishing up training camp to this period of time now going to year 2?
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete difference. Like last year as a rookie, this was still a learning period for me and, still trying to get comfortable and still trying to, adjust to obviously the NFL and the speed of the game. But I think with this year, my confidence is at a high level right now. I think I'm playing at, just a different level than what I was last year, and just playing fast and not thinking about anything and, going out there and just trying to execute to the best of my ability, whether it's, running the ball, running and catching the ball, blocking, everything that I do out there. So, I'm really confident and, really, excited to get going with the team and with all the new guys, because I think that with this year, compared to last year, just the confidence level is different.
Where does that come from, would you say, the confidence level being different?
Just
you or is that the whole team?
I think it's the whole team. Yeah, I know it's me for sure. Just because with coming into year 2, I have experience now, and I know the speed of the game, and I played a full year. And I think that's with every player that played from 1 year to the next year is just having a different kind of motivation and confidence and knowing what you're doing without thinking and having to second guess yourself. I haven't been doing none of that this year.
Bijan, what's your main focus between now and game 1 of the regular season? How do you take that and make a positive impact for the offense as a whole?
Yeah, for me, it's just keeping my body right, keeping my body at a high level, from this point to obviously next Sunday, and, just continue to just make sure in practice that we're executing the right way, and, we're not missing the little details and the little things, whether it's passing, whether it's running, making sure I step in as a leader for the guys on the offense, and making sure that we're always just doing the little things right, because obviously Pittsburgh has a great defense, so we don't want to mess up anything and make those little mistakes. So we'll be firing off on Sunday.
Speaking of your body, do you put on weight at all, or do you make any kind of body composition changes from rookie year?
No, I'm actually the same weight, just 220. 220 is my weight, and for me, it's just continue to just maintain it, and I just build muscle. I kind of been the same weight for 3 or 4 years now, and I kind of have a routine, but yeah, just trying to keep that 220 stature, and then I'll be good.
Hey John, have you ever seen Kirk's notes that he takes in meetings?
I haven't seen them. I actually scanned by them one time, but there was a lot going on. Yeah, and he's a small, it's a very small writer, so I couldn't really see it. But I know whatever he's writing in there, he's writing for every practice. So whatever he's writing in there, it's probably some really minute, detailed things in that book.
How small are we talking? Can you read it?
No, I can't read it. I can't read it at all. It's
a manifesto of some kind?
Yeah, it's he's his face is to his book, just a little microscope. It's crazy.
How has training camp prepared you and this team for the start of the season?
Yeah, I think this has been a great training camp. Obviously, we work super hard every day, and we take a lot of reps, a lot of, just going back and forth with each other, whether it's 1s-on-2s, 1s-on-1s, 2s-on-1s. Obviously it's been, one of those grindy camps, but I think for us as a team, it didn't even feel like it was super grindy, just because we're having so much fun out there, and Coach Raheem is obviously making every practice competitive, making it fun, making us just enjoy being out there. Obviously we're out there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, but it feels like we're out there for an hour, just because we're getting stuff done efficiently, but obviously continue to just have fun and keep doing it the right way.
And how excited are you to get this season rolling?
I mean, I'm excited. I hate this period of time right here, this little bye week that we have, because college football's going on, and it just makes you want to go out there even more. But I'm really excited to get going on Sunday, man. And obviously it's going to get here faster than I think. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait.
Where is your headspace? This time, the Bullets getting ready to be live. So
yeah. I mean, it's in the right mindset. Obviously, the Steelers are going to come in here, ready to go and locked in, and obviously we need to, be on that exact same level. But my mindset is clear, it's fresh. Obviously, I know that God has me in the right mindset for this team and for myself. So, I'm just ready to go out there, and like I just said, like this waiting period really does kind of suck because you just want to go out there and play.
You mentioned college ball. We can see you in Austin this weekend. Yeah. A lot of guys go back home.
I'm actually not going to be in Austin this weekend. It sucks just because I always want to get to a game every time I can, but for the bye week I'll go out there for the game. But yeah, I wish I was there on Saturday.
Hey, what could you tell us about the new offense? We've been able to watch a little bit out here, and just everything's in, and y'all ready to. They ain't show nobody nothing.
Yeah, we ain't show nobody nothing. Yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be super exciting, a really exciting offense. That's obviously the goal, and to create space against everybody, and obviously just be attacking. Extremely physical. That's the main goal, and whether it's the run game, the pass game, make our presence felt. But it's gonna be a lot of exciting things to look forward to. Obviously, I can't get too much into detail, but definitely just trying to go out there and play fast, and not having to think, and getting the guys that need to get the ball in their hands early and often, so we can go out there and execute the right way.
Bijan, speaking of the new offense, last season we got a chance to see that there were enough balls to go around between you and Tyler. How do you feel about that balance between the two of you this season with the new offense?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's a great balance. With Tyler, being by my side, we know how to play off each other really well. And obviously, with me and Tyler, it's going to be, a lot more workload for us too for this year, and just getting it going early, and keeping that momentum up throughout the whole game. But then obviously every single game that we play. But yeah, me and Tyler, we got to get ready. To grind and to make it the most fun we've ever had playing football. But I love that dude, and I know that he has my back, and I have his back as well.
Yeah, Chris, just how's everything going now that training camp's over, heading into the season up front from the lineman's perspective?
Yeah, I just think there's excitement this time of the year. You're heading into week one, and there's a lot of expectations and a lot of goals for ourselves. And this week is the first week it's real. So to be able to go out there against a great front and the Steelers have, and be able to compete is just really exciting. This is what we all do it for, and you guys have been covering it for months, and we've been training for months. Now it's time to do it for real.
What could you tell us about the new offense?
I think just the way we play up front is nothing's going to change. I think the standard's been set, and Led has that for us, where we're going to play fast up front. He always says it, speed off the ball, and then just try and finish and let those guys make their plays. That's our job. To watch Kirk and all those guys, I'm so excited to watch, the explosives that they're able to make, because there's nothing more rewarding than watching those guys have success.
Mm-hmm. And Coach talked about the mentality of the offensive line, and he wants that to spread throughout the team. You take that as a compliment?
For sure. I think, you guys know Led. He comes in, and I think he could be a WWE wrestler in a different career. So he brings that passion and energy every single day, and then us, we have to do it. And there's for all of us, Drew and I 4 years, Caleb and Jake 6, Burge is heading into a second year. We have so many reps together as a group that we really know what our best is every single day. And so when a guy's not bringing their best, everybody else pushes them along. And so when you have a really healthy culture in that sense, you can never really have a bad day, because you got those guys working each other.
What would his wrestling name be?
Oh, I don't know. You're going to have to ask him. He's probably got one. I'm telling you, if you ask him, he's definitely got one, or he's thought of one once in his life.
And what was getting a guy back like Elijah, who started 9 games here a couple years ago before you got?
Yeah, it's awesome. We love Elijah, and it was so great seeing him come back in the building today, and just excited to have him back around. It was funny. He hopped right back into Indy and knew exactly what he was doing, just never skipped a beat. So we're super excited to have him back.
The speed off the ball mantra, I can't remember if it was you or somebody else who said it's even more than like a football thing. It's more of like a life philosophy. It could be a life philosophy. Can
Right.
you kind of explain what that means, I guess, generally, but also just why that phrase is kind of so...
Yeah, I think it's just our identity as a group, and it's the expectation that no matter what we're going to do, we're going to play as fast as we can, and so nothing hesitating, nothing like, waddling off the ball. If you're going to do something, do it full speed. Obviously you'd like to be doing it to the right guy and stuff like that, but I think that's the thing, is just we're constantly going, and it's a never stopping kind of mindset, and we're just always kind of going. And so every single play, the standard is you better be at your best, smoking off the ball, and that's what everybody expects from you. That's what, at least I expect from myself, and I know all the other guys in the same sense. And that's the standard, thing. We got it up in our room. Everybody has it. And if you ask any of the old linemen in our room, like, they know that's the expectation.
Does it make it easier to play that way when the retention in this room that you've had for the last couple of years? You know the guys next to you. Everyone knows their role. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think the communication aspect is such a big thing. There's so many things that defenses can do or present, or staff changes. There might be different language things, and you can almost problem solve, with them. Talking to Drew, talking to Caleb, it makes it easier to problem solve, and then you kind of know each other's tendencies. So if are they asking a question, or are they reassuring you? Like when you get up to the line, and you kind of know all those things, and it's incredibly fortunate to, it's not very frequent in the NFL that you get to be with guys this long, and I don't know what the stats are, but I know we're super lucky, and it's a great thing that we never take for granted.
In what ways have you seen Bijan grow going into his second year?
I mean, he's as talented as anybody, and just his approach, he comes out here, works his butt off every single day, taking tons and tons of reps. I mean, it's 95 degrees out today, and Bijan was taking a ton of reps, finishing, and I think the success he had last year, I think he's just excited to build upon it, and there's no better person to be around than Bijan. And when he goes and makes those plays, there's so many times you can't believe that it just happened, and then you go and watch tape. So I'm just really looking forward to what Bijan's able to do on Sunday.
Why is he someone you want to be around, you mentioned?
He's not a better teammate. Like, he comes up, he'll go give you a hug every single day. He's got a massive smile on his face. He's a great personality, and then in the same sense, he comes out to practice with that same energy. And I think that's what we talked about, the continuity, like with Bijan and Tyler and the whole line and stuff like that, is, there's a real love for each other, for, wanting to push and have success. And we know that everything's so codependent, and those guys treat us phenomenal. Bijan's a complete superstar and a great player, so he's an amazing person to be around every day.
I know expectations are kind of hard to talk about because you're looking, just at week one right now, but like with the talent this team has, and like the one, the defensive talent they brought in recently, like what are the expectations for, you guys?
I think Coach has said it. I think it's, winning division is always your goal. And we're coming out and ready to work, and I think we have a huge challenge ahead of us with the Steelers week one, and they have one of the best fronts in the NFL. So just preparing this week and next week heading into it, knowing that, it starts for real next week.
Well, Chris, your hard work has definitely been noticed. With 10 days left between now and week one, what is your primary focus going into the first game?
It's going to be learning the game plan. I think you get all your fundamentals at this point should be pretty close wired in, or you have one or two things you'd like to clean up. And then it's just mastering the game plan, so there's no look, or you really want to have all the looks mastered in your head, so when you go out there, if a problem presents itself, you kind of know how to adjust on the fly. And so that's a big thing with any game week, but especially now with week one, you kind of want to dial everything in and have it focused. And so the coaches will prepare and stuff like that, and then we'll really hone into it and study heading into this week.
Chris, can you recall what your reaction was when caps were first mandated, and has your opinion of them changed at all over time?
Not really. I think it's been good to mitigate concussions, and I think I might be wrong, but the original thing was the first 2 weeks of camp, because they said statistically concussions came more in the first ramp-up period. I might be wrong, but that's at least what I think. And then they transitioned that to wearing it on all the full pad days throughout the season. There's so much different helmet technology now, where guys are wearing the helmet with the front bumper and stuff like that. So I think it's just pushing the science technology forward. If it's not guardian caps, it's just, pushing the helmet technology to be better. And then the whole thought process behind it, I believe, was that ramp-up period, and then also just the ramp-up period for soft tissue injuries. And concussion's the same thing. You're not in shape, don't have your technique in line, and so you're more at risk. And so I think the science aspect behind those guys have done a great job.
Is it important for players like yourself to keep up with helmet tech and the science behind this stuff?
Yeah, I think, we all understand the inherent risks that we take coming out playing, and then you want to mitigate that. And our equipment staff, Joey and those guys, they do such a great job informing us. They said, okay, this is the league studies. They have it posted. They sat down with us and we're like, this is what you guys helmets are currently in. This is where you're at. These are these current helmets. And, I'm super fortunate that we have a great staff here that's, really informs us as players. And if we have questions, they're always more than willing to ask.
Do you think it's much of a decision for guys to wear them in the games? Like, what is the calculus behind that, whether or not to wear them in the games?
I think it's just a personal decision for guys, and it's, do you wear the guardian cap or do you wear the helmet with the front bumper? Are you okay? Just in the last 10 years, look at the way helmet technology has improved, and it's only going to keep getting better. And so I don't know what the exact answer is, but I know it's the league's done it where it's a personal choice now, where if guys want to wear it. But there's so many different options, and the equipment staff and these helmet companies have done a really good job of improving it and then informing us as players.
At this point in your career, do you get any jitters heading into week one, or what does that feel like for you?
Every day. Yeah, being an offensive lineman, it's nothing but jitters. There's a ton of stress to perform, and the consistency aspect to it, and a lot of it is just because you care. It's meaningful to you. You want to have success. You want to do well for your team. You want to play well individually, but there's a lot of, if I don't do my job, somebody might get hurt. So it's that's a big responsibility, and it's something that every day you take a lot of pride in how you perform, and that's why every day from April all the way to now is so important.
Are those jitters a mental thing, or is it your body do you know what I mean? Is it a fight or flight thing where it's you have to go out and hit someone, or is it a mental jitter?
Both, a lot of both, especially, at least myself, I'll talk about myself in this sense, the anxiety aspect of it, your stomach is wrenched, you're going into it, and the guy you're playing is really, really good, and you learn how to deal with it over time. But then the mental anxiety of it, you eliminate that aspect in your studying and your preparation, because if you didn't know what you were doing and then you head out there and you can't look yourself in the mirror and be like, I studied as hard as I could for this, or you didn't work as hard as you could, then you have regret. But in the same sense, if you do all that preparation, it's just the kind of performance anxiety.
Something you will wear during the game, you think?
It's something I'm going back and forth about. I just have to figure out if it's going to affect any of my movement and stuff in the game. So I've been testing out different, or with guardian cap, without guardian cap, seeing how I feel in practice. So.
Yeah. Is it entirely about feel for you? Is it any aesthetics coming into play?
I don't care about the aesthetics at all.
Okay.
So yeah, it's all about just performance. If it's going to hinder my production at all, then it's something I can't really worry about. So.
What would be signs of hindrance that you'd be looking for?
It's just because it makes just the size of the helmet larger. Sometimes when you're trying to reach somebody or something, your helmet might get caught a little more. So that's been something I've been trying to figure out, if that's a reality, or if it is going to kind of slide the same way as a normal helmet does. Gotcha. In some of those blocks. So that's my main thing I've been testing.
Do you get the sense that?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Do you get the sense that teammates are they're going through a similar calculus, or is it priorities for guys are different in terms of whether or not they want to wear them during games?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't really asked anybody super explicitly. I know guys there's pretty mixed opinions on having it in practice and all that stuff. But I think overall it seems the sentiment is getting more towards guys don't mind them too much. As for in the games, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, just want to check in with you. Coach said the mentality up front and the line and so forth. Just how's that been? You guys are, not establishing identity, but kind of continuing on up front.
Yeah, it's been going well. A lot of credit to Coach Ledford, Coach Flats, Coach Jones, all those guys. They push us in the room every day. They let us know the standards, as well as the older guys in the room who you lead by example and stuff. So that's been great, and it's one of those things where it doesn't matter what we've done in the past years. We have to reestablish all the work that's necessary to perform at that level every year. So I think we're doing that, stacking days, working hard, trying to get to that point so we can perform as we need to.
And Coach Morris said he wants some of that mentality to seep out of y'all's room into other rooms. How does the player take that, or do you see that, or kind of people embracing the offensive line mentality?
Yeah, definitely. I think guys do a great job of it. I mean, across the board, we got guys that work incredibly hard on both sides of the ball. And so I think you guys just see our best players and our hardest workers in the locker room, like the Jake Matthews, the Chris Lindstrom, the Grady Jarretts, the Jesse Bates, all those guys. They see them and they kind of understand that, that's a recipe for success. So I think it kind of seeps out through the guys that exhibit it really well.
Where you at? How you feeling about going into this season? It's outlook's a little different than a couple years past.
Yeah, I'm excited. Kind of like every season though. I really just try to focus on my own personal development, the O-line's performance, and I really tend not to worry too much about like the larger expectations or predictions or anything like that. So really just worried about the small things so that kind of the larger scale goals will kind of accomplish themselves as we go.
And what could you tell us about Kirk Cousins and him being the new quarterback here?
Yeah, Kirk's awesome. I think I've established before that he's just an incredible pro and has great habits, has great knowledge of the game, is an incredible player. So I think I have a ton to learn from him, and he's been a huge asset in kind of guiding us and letting us know what we need to do and the expectations we need to meet.
What's your mental preparation like going into Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think, again, a ton of credit to all the coaches that put in unbelievable hours to kind of distill all that information into like pretty manageable amounts for us. So for me, it's understanding what we're expecting from their defense, how we're going to approach it, and then kind of our fixes and how we're applying our scheme to that. So I think a lot of understanding that and just honing in on our own game plan and having a vision and trying to execute it.
Right, what's your main, how you see the vision playing out right now? Is it playing out as you imagined so far?
Yeah, I just, again, kind of leave the bigger picture stuff to the coaches and all those people and kind of worry about the smaller, more manageable goals in between. So,
With the camaraderie this unit has, y'all been together for a little bit, how is that kind of helped out this camp, and how are you guys gelling together?
Yeah, it's great. There's just there's small things that come up where you might not have time to communicate something as the play is developing, but from reps and reps and reps that guys will do certain things and you can trust them to see certain looks. So that kind of cohesion is really awesome to have, especially when you play with great players like Jake and Burge and Chris and Caleb. So that's been a pleasure to experience.
So, I mean, obviously you probably feel pretty good about what you brought to this team on special teams, but the roster cut down day has got to be nerve-wracking for everybody. What are the last few days like?
Yeah, it's definitely nerve-wracking. I just took time, just pray to God, ask him to just lead the way. But, I always had faith in my abilities. I knew, if I put the work in, obviously I have a good outcome. And, I just stayed prayed up and blessed.
I guess it was, I don't know if it was Jacksonville or Baltimore, you had a couple of big hits on the kickoff unit. Did you feel like, was there a moment in one of those plays that you thought, yeah, that'll stand out on film? I feel good, I feel like that was a significant play for me to show that that's the kind of player I am.
Yeah, every time I step out on the field, I just try to leave my mark. I just try to make a big play. But, every time I step out there, man, I just like, man, what can I do, to try to make this team, try to better myself and help contribute to the team?
Is there sort of do you have to turn a switch at this point as players from we're trying out to make a team to now we're preparing for an opponent? Or do you just keep doing kind of the same things you were always doing?
Yeah, honestly, just keep doing the same thing. The switch just stays on because you just never know when that time comes or when it may be. So just being ready and prepared.
Raheem said that you're one of those guys who's kind of emblematic of someone who's embraced their role with the special teams. When did that start to happen for you? Even just like mentally, I imagine this even goes back to last year.
Honestly, I would say since day one, like since I was in high school, I always just talked about being patient. And, special team, if that where they want me to embrace, I can do that. You just got to start somewhere. So, just starting on special team and just leaving my mark, it's a blessing.
You talk about cut day kind of being tough, emotionally. You don't know what's going to happen. Do you do anything to like distract yourself that day, or do you just kind of wait for a phone call?
Oh man, just waiting for the phone call. I was just sitting around. I talked to my mom and things like that. She prayed for me, but just being humble, just being patient, just talking to God.
What does Chris Blair show you throughout training camp?
Playmaking. We like Chris a lot. Chris had a situation during the break between OTAs and training camp where we're asking to switch positions, do some different things for us. He handled it very well. We're very fortunate enough to, get Chris back on the practice squad. We're looking forward to his continued development.
Did you lobby for 6 guys on the 53, or is 5 enough, or do you worry about that?
I'm not a lobbyist.
Not a lobbyist,
No, I stay clear of that. That is way above my pay grade.
But 5 to you feels like a good enough number. I mean,
5
I know
is
you've
a
got
number.
call-ups and
Yeah.
everything. You've got a lot of flexibility.
We believe in a plan.
Yeah.
As assistant coaches, and we're going to go with 5, and 5 is going to work.
What did Casey Washington show you all during training camp?
Well, I think, going back from the beginning of the whole process, originally talking about Casey, kid's built for the game physically. He has outstanding hand-eye coordination. He plays fast, he plays hard, he throws hands in the run game. And those are traits that we as a staff, we covet. There are things that we're going to continue to coach and ask for more from him. And we're going to expect a lot of things from Casey and also the other guys on our roster.
What does throughout camp just kind of stand out, deciding on those final 5?
Fortunately, and unfortunately, it was a tough decision. Down at the I don't want to call it the bottom or back end of the roster, but in terms of our depth, we have a lot of young men that made a really, really good case to be on this football team. It starts with the guys that we're going to count on heavy in Drake and Mooney, and they display playmaking all off-season and attention to detail, and it trickled down to everybody else. We just feel like we have a dynamic group of young men across the 5 that we have with those 2, and Ray, Kadero Hodge is going to do some really good things for us, and like I just mentioned, we expect some really good things from Casey as well. And we'll see how it plays out going forward.
How did young frat brother do in his internship, David?
Young Whitlow, little brother of mine. I'm very fond of David. I was the wide receiver coach at Auburn. My first opportunity to work with him. So I have a soft spot in my heart for him. He did an excellent job while he was here. Made a great impression on everybody, and hopefully, he'll have an NFL job shortly.